I'm Old Sneelock. Welcome to another episode of Old Sneelock's Workshop. Well, I've got everything all laid out. Now I'm cutting it to size. Grinder seems to work better than the torch, things like this, because I don't have as much clean up on it. And the plasma cutter would be nice, but I'm not set up for it out here. I don't have a compressor. Not going to move that until I'm absolutely ready because I don't want to be without it. Use a compressor an awful lot, especially when you need it right then. You don't want to fiddle around saying, okay, well I can hook up some temporary power to it. You want to be able to have it ready to go. And it's going to be sitting on the outside of that wall over there. So it's not going to be something that I can easily move. Why am I knocking the corners off? Because when you're grabbing around up in the rafters, trying to do something, you don't want to grab a hold of a sharp edge. A lot easier to do it now than it is to try and fix it later. I have these all marked out where I want to cut. And I have marked out where they go. This one's the south crossbar. And it's going to be 52 inches long. Measure twice, cut once. It's going to be 6 feet. It's going to be 5 feet, 2 inches long, 62 inches. Measure twice, cut once. That way I can make this a 3-4-5 angle, 3-4-5 triangle, and when I set this on the beam and bring it over and line it up, the track's going to be square. It's just going to automatically work. At least that's the plan. You always try and work your plan. Now, does it always work? Nope. I make mistakes, just like every other human being in the world. I try and limit my chances. to try and take all the sharp edges off of it. Because when I was cutting it up, I was cutting it with a torch. So I ended up with all these little dings and things on it. And it doesn't look like much, but when you run your hand across it, it's got an edge like a razor. I cut my palm of my left hand quite deeply when I was working at Denver. I just walked over to a sawhorse and I was going to sit down on it to make some notes. Took my hand and wiped across the top of the sawhorse where they had cut some welds off. Just cut me up 4 slices right across the top of my hand. I'm working on putting up the track. I have the south horizontal track put up. I'm in the process of cutting the framework and the hangers from the rafters. I think I've got most of them done. I'm going to go through and make sure. That's the south vertical. That's the north vertical. Need to get out the silver pen because this rust doesn't let me mark very plainly. North, there we go. After the Rapture, cross brace, down. Well, it's raining today. You can kind of tell. One of the pitfalls of having a steel roof, when it rains, you get this. So I'm probably going to just do a voiceover on this one, and we're not going to have any sound at all, other than voiceover and a little music.
Nice having the drill press out in the new shop. Putting these frameworks up would have been a lot harder without it. I can drill all these things by hand, but it takes a lot more time, and it's nowhere near as accurate.
Well, we set up a paint booth in the shop. First paint job in the new paint booth. Well, if you want to call it that. It's just a couple of workmates sitting on the floor in the middle of the room with some foam sheet sitting over the top of it to keep the stuff off of workmates. But I wanted to paint these parts before I put them up in the rafters. Because once I do that, I know I will never take them down. I thought, well, I could put them up, and then in the spring when it's warm, I can bring them down and paint them. And I thought, you're not going to do that. And I said, well, I really shouldn't paint because it's cold. Well, you know what? If it's a bad paint job, it's better than no paint job. But it seems to be working. I have the quartz iodide light, which is putting out quite a bit of heat. It's not warm in the room, but it's warm enough, I think. I think it's got the parts up above 50, which is the recommended minimum. Interesting thing about permanent marker. I was concerned that I might not be able to see which ones went where, because I made these in two separate parts. There's one south side and one north side. But permanent marker shows right through paint. That's why we never wanted to put permanent marker on anything we were building. And there we go. All nicely green to match the outside of the building. And why did I do that? Well, because that was the color I had in the garage. Not because it matched the building, just because it was the color I had in the garage. But it's going to work. It's going to do just fine. If you have any suggestions for a new video, questions about today's video, or any of the other videos on the channel, just drop a note in the comments. You know I read them all. Thanks for watching.
This video is not to be viewed by anyone under the age of 13 in the U.S. or 16 in the European Union without the express written permission of the parents or the legal guardians of the underage person. Such written permission must be on file at the local government entity in charge of enforcing the rules and regulations established by the FTC. Anyone violating these terms is admitting by default that they hold harmless the owners and operators of this channel. Any and all questions should be addressed to your local branch of the FTC.